Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Mahdalena Agustin, with NPM 244120025. Here I will explain about accounting equation formulas and examples of accounting formula cases. The basic accounting equation is the foundation for all accounting systems. The basic accounting equation is a process of equating a company's assets/properties/assets with its liabilities, debt, and equity, capital. This shows that all company assets were obtained from either debt or equity funding. For example, when a new company is built, the first assets purchased come from funds received from investors or from loans, debt. Thus, all company assets that come from creditors or investors are called liabilities and equity. If described using a formula, the formulation is assets, liabilities, debt, equity. This equation applies to all business activities and transactions. Assets will always be equal to the owner's liabilities and equity, liabilities. If assets increase, either liabilities or owner's equity must increase to balance the equation. Vice versa, if assets decrease, the owner's liabilities and equity also decrease. Elements of the basic accounting equation. 1. Real account. A. Assets. Assets are resources owned or controlled by a company for future use. B. Obligations or debts, liabilities, is an amount of funds that the company borrows from another party, creditor, and must be repaid according to the agreed time. C. Equity or capital is part of the company's assets owned by shareholders or third parties. Owners can increase their share of ownership by investing funds in the company or reduce equity by withdrawing company funds, private. 2. Nominal account. A. Income. Revenue is an increase in total assets as a result of gross company operations. Income is obtained due to the delivery/sale of goods or services in one period. B. Burden. Expenses are sacrifices that occur in order to obtain income. Problems example. PT-ABC carried out the following transactions during January 2024. 1. The owner of the company deposits 50 million rupiah in cash into the company as initial capital. Assets increased by 50 million rupiah, cash. Equity increased by 50 million rupiah, basic accounting equation. Assets, liabilities, equity. Assets, 50 million rupiah, liabilities, 0 rupiah, equity, 50 million rupiah.
2.
The company purchased office equipment for 20 million rupiah with cash. Assets decreased 20 million rupiah, cash. Increased 20 million rupiah, equipment, basic accounting equation. Assets, liabilities, equity. Assets, 50 million rupiah, 20 million rupiah, plus 20 million rupiah, 0 rupiah, liabilities, 50 million rupiah, equity. Assets, 50 million rupiah, liabilities, 0 rupiah, equity, 50 million rupiah.
3.
The company purchased merchandise inventory worth 10 million rupiah on credit. Assets increased by 10 million rupiah, inventory. Liabilities increased by 10 million rupiah, debt, basic accounting equation. Assets, liabilities, equity. Assets, 60 million rupiah, liabilities, 10 million rupiah, equity, 50 million rupiah.
4.
The company sells merchandise for 15 million rupiah in cash, which was originally purchased for 8 million rupiah. Assets increased by 15 million rupiah, cash, increased by 8 million rupiah, inventory. Equity increased by 7 million rupiah. Sales profit, basic accounting equation. Assets, liabilities, equity. Assets, 60 million rupiah, 15 million rupiah, 8 million rupiah. Liabilities, 10 million rupiah, equity, 50 million rupiah, 7 million rupiah. Assets, 67 million rupiah, liabilities, 10 million rupiah, equity, 57 million rupiah.
5.
The company paid a debt worth 5 million rupiah. Assets reduced by 5 million rupiah, cash. Liabilities reduced by 5 million rupiah, debt, basic accounting equation. Assets, liabilities, equity. Assets, 67 million rupiah, 5 million rupiah. Liabilities, 10 million rupiah, 5 million rupiah. Equity, 57 million rupiah. Assets, 62 million rupiah. Liabilities, 5 million rupiah. Equity, 57 million rupiah. Summary. After all transactions are recorded, PT. ABC's financial position is as follows. Assets, 62 million rupiah. Liabilities, 5 million rupiah. Equity, 57 million rupiah. The basic accounting equation remains balanced. Assets, liabilities, equity. Assets 62 million rupiah, liabilities 5 million rupiah, equity 57 million rupiah. That's all from me, and thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.